Welcome back. If you just started following along, we were talking about the trip to Florida that made us want to be expats. Then we started talking about a big decision we made to sell our home and downsize. And now we're talking about our first trip to Costa Rica, the first country we're thinking about moving to as an expat. So we're gone to get the whole vibe and everything for Costa Rica. Before we get super far into it, I want to say I wish I had taken more videos and more cost analysis while we were traveling, but this was not something I thought I would do or share with anybody. It was a vlog about of this whole idea. So I'm sorry for that, but I do have some notes that I want to share about some cost of kind of what some things cost in Costa Rica compared to Canada. So from Numbio, I'm gonna have to figure out how to say that. From it says that Costa Rica on average is 20.6% cheaper than Canada and 51.1% cheaper for rent than Canada. But you have to keep in mind that has to do with where you live in Canada too. So obviously some spots in Canada are cheaper and some are going to be way more expensive. Okay, now let's go over the cost of some food items.
Imported beer in Costa Rica is $6.55. A cappuccino is $4.85. A Coke is $2.77. 12 eggs is $4.62. One head of lettuce, $1.35. So one of the things we're looking at when we're moving away is the cost of renting, because we don't plan to buy anywhere we go. So one bedroom apartment in the city center of Costa Rica is $970 a month. A one bedroom outside the city center is $695. A three bedroom inside the city center is $1,860, and a three bedroom outside the city center is $1,323. So those are some items that we're looking at when we're looking for a place to go, because we don't want to buy anything. We want to be able to rent for a while, especially be free to choose if we don't like the place and want to keep moving on.
Now we're in Costa Rica, and it's like minus 30 in Saskatchewan, plus 34 in Costa Rica. It was like so hot when we landed. So our flight we took was overnight. So we left at like midnight or something, and we flew all night to Liberia. So we got to Liberia, and it was like 8 in the morning, I think, when we landed. So it was a really shitty sleep, and that kind of sucked. But so we landed in Liberia, and we rented a car, and we went to Haco, and that's about a 4-hour drive from Liberia. So we did Airbnbs there, two actually, because something I had to reschedule our trip at one point because of work. So we actually had to change our dates, which put me out of our Airbnb room being kind of messed up. So we ended up staying in an Airbnb, different Airbnb closer to the beach. Well, actually, not really. Our second one was closer to the beach, but this one was attached to a hookah bar. So it was good. It was loud at night, but it was a super cute little room. I don't even know if I have pictures of that room. I don't even think I took pictures of that area. But so we got there like early afternoon, and we couldn't check in, couldn't get a hold of anybody, and we had our bags, and they say like don't leave your stuff in your car because it can get stolen. And some guy had like told us to come into his parking lot and pay $10 and our stuff would be safe, which I didn't feel very secure. So we did take our stuff around. Mind you, like I said, we've flown all night, and we went from minus 30 to plus 35 weather. So it was very, very hot when we got there. And so we changed and everything. And then we had our bags with us. By this point, I felt like my feet had blown up into like balloons. It was so crazy. They were so fat. I think from the temperature change from Saskatchewan to Costa Rica. So first night was there, and then we went to a different hotel, and it was called Hotel Haco, but it wasn't. It was like a hotel, but it was like Airbnbs inside the hotel. It was super cute, and it was right on the ocean. So they had like a parking lot, and then it was like sand, and then the water. And we were on, I think, the second floor. or something like that, with a balcony towards the water. So it was super cool. Could watch the sunset. We would have drinks up there and watch the sun go down. And like at in the evening, there's like lots of people fishing and stuff. We even saw somebody accidentally hook a stingray, I think. He brought one in. It was pretty neat. Super cute hotel. It had like a restaurant in it. Super good food. It had drinks. It played country music, which was pretty awesome. Derek and I would go have fancy drinks and listen to country music. It had a pool, so we could cool off and sit around the pool if you're hot sitting over by the ocean in the afternoon. So we stayed in Haco for about a week. And then from Haco, we kind of did like different adventures from around there. So we did go to Manuel Antonio one day, which was a day drive. Super cute place, very busy. It was a little bit like windier and steeper to get to, kind of. I don't know, but it like we got really tight once we were in there. But it's like a park, and we did a tour of the park, and we saw animals, and we had a guided tour, and he would like zoom in up the trees, and we got to see a sloth and different monkeys and hummingbirds and stuff like that. And then you walk down to like a little cove with like beautiful, beautiful waters and like white beaches. So the sand at Haco wasn't white. It was kind of like a black rocky. It was kind of like hard. Like it was like, and it was really like seemed to go for a long ways. So we did that one day, and then another day we went and we did. Okay, like I found somebody I think on TripAdvisor or Expedia. I'm not sure if they were like, we met them at a coffee shop and they took us out. So I didn't feel as bad once a doctor hopped in with his wife and he must have found the same tour. But it was like two teenage kids that took us out and they took us hiking, climbing 10 waterfalls. I don't have very many videos of it. I wish I took more videos. I'm much better at doing videos now than I was back then in pictures. I have pictures, but not very many videos. But we climbed up 10 waterfalls. It was very sketchy. No hats. I mean, like no helmets, no nothing like that. It was definitely outside my zone of comfort, and I did enjoy it. So it was a good experience, but it was very scary. And yeah, so like I said, there was a doctor on it, and so he must have found the same thing I did. So I don't know, but we did that, and then we also did zip lining. So that was huge outside my comfort zone. I'm super scared of heights, and my husband asked me to do this. So to pair it, we did also chocolate. So we learned how chocolate was made, and then we also went zip lining. I think there was 10 zip lines on that one when we did it too. So you can see in the videos, I'm like quite scared. I'm like hugging the trees really tight. It was more enjoyable as we got towards the end, but at the beginning, I was very, very scared. Didn't speak. So when I get scared, I just shut down. I don't say nothing. I just go quiet. I just and that's how it was. But they seemed a little more legit. They had helmets and everything like that, so it did make life a little bit easier. So I wouldn't live in Haco per se. It didn't call my name at all. It didn't seem like somewhere I would want to stay. I've heard other people. So when we flew down, there was lots of people talking about moving to Costa Rica, and they're talking about different places down there, and totally not being Canadian citizens anymore and moving everything over to Costa Rica. So I was very surprised because when we went on this trip, that was part of our thing, was trying to find somewhere to live. And we spoke to two different people on our flights that were sitting right next to us. They were doing the exact same thing. And I thought it was very interesting. So they were going to different places and they spent most of the time throughout the year there. And then they had come back to Canada for a couple months out of the year. So I wouldn't live in Haco. It was great. Costa Rica was very beautiful. I really enjoyed the experiences we had down there. But it was not for me. So yeah. Well, while we were also there, we went to La Fortuna and we hiked a volcano. So it was like not an active volcano. I think it said it had erupted in like last time it was like 2010 or something, in 2011. And so we got to hike around on like the boulders of the lava. You can't get too far up it, But that was super cool. Being out there hiking that, just seeing the swamp around it and stuff like that. And then while we were up in La Fortuna, we also hiked down to a big waterfall. Derek went in the water and swam like close to the waterfall. It was beautiful. So, like I said, it was very beautiful. It was gorgeous to be able to do everything, but it's not something I think I would set my roots in at the moment. I do want to take the kids back for sure. I would definitely holiday there again. I would try different parts of Costa Rica. So we did the west side, I guess you can say, the non-Caribbean side. So Haco's on that side. And then La Fortuna is more inland. So the temperature was different. It was super hot by the beach. And then it was like cloudier and foggier over by the volcano where we stayed. And we stayed in an Airbnb there too. It was super cute in town. And it looked out, you could see the volcano like from it. So when we were there, you couldn't see the tip of the volcano because the clouds had come in. They said it had been there like 2 days or like 7 days before you could see it. But the Airbnb was super cute. It was like nestled away by somebody's property. And then they had like a jacuzzi on the deck and stuff like that. So it was super cute. And I felt safe in both towns. Like obviously there's places you probably shouldn't go or things you shouldn't do. But like to get down to Hotel Haco, we had to go down a back alley to get to the hotel because it was on the beach side at the bottom of the alley. And La Fortuna too. We went walking all around downtown there, and I felt safe. It was good. The food was good. Food was super good in both places. And like I said, I like our in La Fortuna, we were tucked away on a property, so we had to go in kind of like a back alley again too. So I don't know if things are just made out of back alleys or what, but it was beautiful, beautiful country. 100% recommend it. Like if you want a holiday, go jungling, you want to go do some tour stuff. It was definitely amazing, but I don't think it's where we're going to go to live. So we are still on the hunt to find somewhere to live. I don't know where we're going to go next, but this was our first stop and it was not for us.